My great pleasure to welcome Tony Hsieh. He sold his first company Link Exchange to Microsoft in '98 for 265 million. And being a young, energetic entrepreneur, he didn't want to settle down, and he joined an emerging startup called Zappos. He joined them full-time in 2000. The revenue was 1.6 million. And now, in 2008, they closed above $1 billion. Tony, it's truly a pleasure to welcome you.
Thank you.
I want to take you back to the starting of this company called Zappos. And what made you join this as a full-time? Did you think that it would trigger what others weren't doing? But there are a lot of other companies in the same space.
Yeah, originally I actually didn't know much about the footwear industry at all. I used to buy one pair of shoes every 2 years. And so originally it just sounded like one of those bad internet ideas because this was back in '99. And but I think what got me was when the founder of the company, his name is Nick, revealed a statistic, which was that in the U.S., footwear was $40 billion a year overall. But at the time, 5% of that, or $2 billion, was being done by paper mail order catalogs. And so in my mind, it felt like, well, that seems like it's at least a $2 billion opportunity online, because it seemed like all of that was going to shift to the online world. So that was pretty much the extent of it initially, and then just over the course of a year, really enjoyed working with the team, and it was fun, and so ended up joining full-time.
The space is flooded with others, and a lot of more verticals where people want to do, but they see a lot more players, and the revenue model isn't clear. I wanted your take on people who are trying to do similar things in space which is pretty occupied.
Well, I think really, ultimately, it's about creating your own space. If you're trying to do something that other people are already doing in pretty much a similar way, then chances of success are pretty low. For us, really, what we decided is we want to build our brand around the very best customer service, and there's no other brand online that's trying to do that. And so basically that goes back to creating our own space. We're not about selling shoes online, we're about customer service. And so my advice for any entrepreneur starting any business, online or offline, is really think about what is going to be unique about your business. What is the space that you're going to both create and own, and have your with the long-term vision of when people think of your company's name, they're going to automatically think of this, however you've defined your space. And that's what, and just focus on that one thing and be the very best at it, and better than anyone else, and that's how companies succeed.
It's very comforting to see young entrepreneurs like you, or second-generation Asian Americans, coming up in the space. But there are a lot more people who come here as professionals, initially as students, then professionals, then to entrepreneurship. And they have different challenges because they still have not assimilated well into the culture. But they have a lot of energy, a lot of passion to do what you are doing. Do you foresee any challenges, or do you have any advice for them to face those challenges head on?
Well, I think one thing for people to really think about is really think about what are your motivations behind being an entrepreneur. Because I think for some people they think, oh, if I'm an entrepreneur, then I'll have more free time. That's definitely not true. Or they'll think, if I'm an entrepreneur, then I can make more money. And I don't think either of those things are actually good reasons to be entrepreneurs. And I think you just have to be honest with yourself as to really why do you want to be an entrepreneur, because it's not for everyone. And Gary Vee from WineLibrary.com, basically his test is, if as a kid you didn't have a lemonade stand or weren't doing something, then it's just not in your DNA.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people go down the path of wanting to be an entrepreneur because they see everyone else doing it, when
right.
It may not be part of their DNA. So, but I think if it is part of your DNA, I think part of entrepreneurism is just you're just resourceful and you figure stuff out. And whether you're in a place where English is not your, if English is not your first language, or there's other challenges, I think entrepreneurs are just creative and figure out a way to deal with those. And I think if you're the type of person that needs to be told, okay, here are the 10 steps you need to take in order to build your business, then you're probably more of a manager and less of an entrepreneur.
Okay. One other thing that was very interesting to the audience today was your take on the spirituality side of business, if I may say so. That, we all chase success hoping that money will bring us lasting happiness, which is not true, but we don't realize that until we hit that milestone. So for our audience who was not there today in the hall, wanted a, a retake on what you said.
Yeah, I mean, basically all the research has shown that once your basic needs are met, you're not worried about food or you're not worried about being homeless, then additional money doesn't actually bring you additional happiness. But the problem is everyone thinks it does, but it actually, the research has shown it actually doesn't. And so, a lot of people go through life trying to, get that promotion or raise so they can make more money, and so they can buy a bigger house or buy a car, thinking that's going to bring them happiness. And they may be happy the day that happens, or maybe even the week after. But what the research has shown is that it wears off pretty quickly.
Okay. You're a successful entrepreneur in your own right, and we all have our mentors throughout our lives, and we at Thai very strongly believe in nurturing the ecosystem of entrepreneurship. We are, in 12 countries, 53 chapters, and we started 16 years ago. The entrepreneurs who became successful, they said, now it's time for us to go and give back to the community so we can nurture more entrepreneurs and make them successful much more than what we are today. So I wanted your take on, came to Thai. I understand the first time. It's a huge conference. It's the largest in the world for entrepreneurs. What is your feeling after coming and keynoting at our conference?
Yeah, it definitely seems like there's a lot of energy and passion here with the entrepreneurs, and it definitely seems like people are, hungry both for the knowledge and also the just relationship building, and so definitely, I think so there were close to 4,000 people here.
Yes.
So I think in some cases the members speak for themselves in terms of how valuable the conference is.
Okay. Tony, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.